The little girl's voice sliced through the quiet underground parking garage like a siren. Ethan Cross, CEO of Cross Tech Industries and one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the city, turned sharply. He had been halfway into his black luxury sedan, phone pressed to his ear, mind still tangled in numbers, board meetings, and the constant pressure of running an empire. "What?" he said, annoyed more than alarmed. The girl stood near a concrete pillar, barefoot, her clothes too thin for the cold night air. She couldn't have been more than 8. Her dark hair was messy, eyes wide, not with fear, but urgency. Real urgency. "They're coming," she repeated, louder this time. "You have to leave. Now." Ethan frowned and glanced around. The garage was empty except for his car and a security vehicle parked near the exit. His driver had stepped out moments ago to take a call. Everything looked normal. "Kid, this isn't funny," Ethan said. "Where are your parents?" But the girl wasn't listening. She ran closer, grabbing the sleeve of his tailored coat with small trembling fingers. "Please," she whispered. "You don't have time. The alarm will go off. Then it's too late." Something about her tone made his irritation fade. She wasn't begging for money. She wasn't joking. She looked certain. Before he could respond, a faint sound echoed through the garage, footsteps. Multiple. Fast. Ethan's instincts, sharpened by years of high-risk decisions, flared. He pulled the car door open fully and glanced back at the girl. "Get in," he said without thinking. She hesitated for half a second, then climbed into the passenger seat. Ethan slid behind the wheel, ignoring protocol, ignoring everything he had been trained to do. He pressed the ignition. Nothing. The engine stuttered, once then died. That was when the alarm screamed. Red lights flooded the garage as the security system roared to life. The sound was deafening, bouncing off concrete walls. Ethan's phone slipped from his hand. "What the hell?" he muttered. The girl ducked down instinctively. "They're here," she said. "I told you." From the far end of the garage, shadows moved. 3 men emerged between parked cars, faces hidden under caps, movements fast and deliberate. One of them raised something metallic. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. This wasn't a robbery. This was an ambush. "Stay down," Ethan said sharply, reaching for the emergency release. The men began running. Ethan shoved the gear into neutral and pushed the car forward, using momentum alone. The sedan rolled just enough for him to steer behind a thick concrete pillar as a loud crack echoed. Gunfire. The sound tore through the garage. The little girl screamed once, then clamped her hands over her mouth. Ethan's mind raced. He had security. He had protocols. None of them mattered right now. "How did you know?" he whispered urgently, crouching low behind the steering wheel. "I saw them," the girl said. "They were watching you all day. I heard them talking." "You followed me?" Ethan asked. She shook her head. "I live here." That stopped him cold. "Here." She nodded. "The old storage room behind the elevators. It's warm." Another gunshot hit the pillar, spraying dust across the windshield. Ethan flinched. "You saved my life," he said, disbelief heavy in his voice. "I didn't want you to die," she replied simply. Sirens wailed in the distance, real ones this time. The attackers cursed. One shouted something Ethan couldn't hear. Moments later, footsteps retreated. Tires screeched. Silence fell, broken only by the fading alarm. Ethan stayed still for several seconds, body tense, before finally exhaling. Security guards stormed into the garage. Police followed. When it was over, when statements were taken and threats assessed, one truth remained clear. The little girl had prevented his assassination. But when Ethan turned to thank her, she was gone. Panic twisted his chest. He searched the garage, calling out, ignoring officers trying to stop him. He found her near the elevator doors, standing alone. "Hey," he said gently, kneeling in front of her. "You can't disappear like that." She looked up at him, guarded. "I didn't want them to take me." "No one is taking you anywhere," Ethan said firmly. "Not tonight. Not ever." She studied his face, searching for lies. Finding none, she whispered. "My name is Lena." "Ethan," he replied, "and you're safe now." He didn't know it yet, but that moment would change both of their lives forever. The investigation revealed the truth Ethan had feared. A corporate rival had hired professionals to eliminate him before a major acquisition. If Lena hadn't warned him, he would have been dead within minutes. The media called it luck. Ethan knew better. He couldn't stop thinking about Lena, where she slept, how she survived, how an 8-year-old had more courage than men trained to protect him. He found her again the next morning, exactly where she said she lived. A forgotten storage room. No bed. No heat. Just a blanket and a backpack. Ethan felt something inside him break. From that day on, things moved fast. Social services. Lawyers. Background checks. Lena had no living relatives. No records anyone could find. She had fallen through the cracks of the city Ethan thought he owned. He took responsibility. Not because of guilt. Because of gratitude. Lena moved into a safe apartment. She went to school. She laughed, something she hadn't done in years. And Ethan changed. The man who once measured success in profit margins now measured it in school reports, bedtime stories, and the quiet relief of knowing she was safe. She never asked for anything, but she gave him everything. Perspective, purpose, humanity. 2 years later, Ethan stood on a stage, accepting an award for ethical leadership. Cameras flashed. Applause thundered. He looked into the crowd and saw Lena in the front row, smiling proudly. When asked how he survived the darkest night of his life, Ethan didn't talk about security systems or luck. He told the truth. "A little girl warned me," he said, "and reminded me that greatness isn't built in boardrooms. It's built when you listen, especially to those the world ignores." The audience rose in applause. Lena squeezed his hand. The alarm that night had gone off. But it wasn't a warning of death. It was the beginning of a life saved twice.